On this episode, ChocoPro had 3 matches, 2 single matches, and of course the main event, which is the tag team match, which features my favorite tag team in ChocoPro, the Best Bros. We've been going to review, of course, Warriors Wrestling Sweet 16, which features Bret Hart as part of the opener, and of course other title matches that took place, the ROH Women's World Championship and other, and of course I was supposed to do this a review from a past event from late July by CCW, which means Cape Championship Wrestling. I was unable to do that due to the time I couldn't put in, but I decided to replace it or substitute it, however you want to call it, with another past event, which is called Camp Leapfrog, which is an interesting name, but you may have or may not have heard of these wrestlers before, but it's a really fun event, which is the 21st birthday of Abby Jane. So, let's get started with another episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Leaded Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So let's begin with the latest Choker Pro event. Number 165. The opening match was Masa Takanashi along with Sayaka Obihiro against um, Kappa Kozo. He is like a reptilian type monster who doesn't play well with others. I've seen him before in other events, but I don't know why they book him. But Masa knew what he got himself into, but Sayaka tried to help him, but she was no match for the creature itself. But Masa was able to pull up an interesting victory by rolling him up, getting a 1-2-3, and it was over. And Kappa was not a happy camper, but be sure he'll get his revenge on Masa soon enough. Well, the next match is all women's. It's for the first time. I haven't seen this individual for quite some time, maybe a couple weeks or so. Sayaka taking on the Tropical Wild Yuna Mizumori. I have to say, Sayaka has grown a lot more. She has improved the last few times I have seen her. She had an interesting match against Chris Brooks last season, but this time she really put up her A game on this one, and I think it showed a lot of character with Sayaka, despite that she had, of course, matches where she loses, but she never gives up no matter how difficult it is. She's like almost in a similar predicament as Lulu Pencil. Well, we all know where she is right now, but I say she did an improvement, but however, it was Yuna Mizumori who picked up the victory. In our main event, we have Chiko Ishikawa teaming up with a guy I never heard of, but he seems interesting to follow, Shin Suzuki, taking on the Best Bros, Mei Shiruga and Balianaki. Now, this is one of those matches you know that the Best Bros will put on their A game. But however, in much of this recent time, Chi has been hell-bent in trying to dethrone the Best Bros. Her and her tag team partner, Hanage Shinobu, who wasn't booked for this particular match, is determined to challenge the Best Bros no matter what. Now, in this particular match, you can tell the Best Bros could win. But, however, when it comes to Chi, she's more comfortable teaming with Hanage. But Shin did pretty good job too, putting up his ability, but apparently there was still no match for the Best Bros. So they retained the title. So we could expect one day Chi and Hagane once again getting another shot at the tag team titles. However, the last time they faced them for the titles, they ended up in a time limit draw. So this is one of those moments where could be the next time they could lose. I don't know. but we'll see what that happens. However, let's move on with the Jonkin tournament. Now, the Jonkin tournament was kind of hard to determine, um, but however, somehow, some way, Mei Shiruga got away with it by winning it, surviving the entire ordeal despite that she was tired from one incredible match she had with Chiko Ishikawa. But basically, she is the best, bro. And don't ever call her the Goblin, but I like to call her the Little Slide Devil. But I think that's pretty much it. So there will be more ChocoPro stuff, but the four-way match for the number one contendership is still not really determined when it's gonna take place. Basically, from what Balianaki translated, that Masa and Emi Sakura are discussing what is the perfect date. As you know, Emi Sakura will be putting some input despite the fact she's here in the United States, but Masa is running the operations in her place while she's here. But she is watching the shows. There's no denying that. So, I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on with Warrior Wrestling. Okay, Warrior Wrestling. It's been a month, and I was waiting for this one. They're calling it Sweet 16. The reason they called it that is because coincidentally, the show happened on October 16th on a Saturday. It had opened up with Bret Hart, who, of course, currently could not interact with the fans due to the COVID protocols, which is understandable, and it was great to see that. I was assuming that he was going to be either a ring announcer or referee or timekeeper. I don't know, but him being there probably put up a good show for the people to show up so they can enjoy the rest of the show. Now, the opening match was the Warrior Wrestling Championship between Challenger, ROH's, and of course one of the most best wrestlers in the technical world, Jonathan Gresham, taking on Trey Miguel. The match was good. Now, the reason this match was set was because we all know, you may have or may not have heard, Jonathan Gresham is no longer continuing on as in the pure wrestling division type in Ring of Honor. So he wants to step even further to the top. And he thought maybe Trey Miguel could be that guy to put him in. The match was going great, but however, the match was interrupted by that lousy clown, Frank the Clown, and his goons. Now, do I think there's going to be some sort of rematch between those two, between Gresham and Trey? I don't know, but hopefully they can. Excuse me. The next match is a tag team match. We have Dan the Dad teaming up with KLD for taking on the Beastman and Warhorse. Now you know there's these two guys, Warhorse and Beastman. They have faced each other in the past, but teaming up together, they are like an unstoppable force, and it kind of fits into them. I think the commentators were calling them War Beast or Beast War or something like that. I mean, I know there's War Beast, which consisted of both Joseph Samael and Jacob Fatu, but whatever they call themselves, it probably will fit them later. So, but the match ended up in the Beastman's favor when he pinned um, KLD for the match and allowing for him and Warhorse to pick up the victory. The next match is for the ROH Women's World Championship between Lady Luck and, of course, Roxy, who is the current champion. It was very interesting that Roxy is now putting that title on the line in any promotion. I don't know if ROH gave her permission because it has to be sanctioned by the company, and it did. And I'd say it was a pretty good match. Lady Luck put up a good effort, but of course we know Roxy, who is dubbed as the Prodigy. She continues to be that Prodigy that many fans probably would enjoy watching, but that's how I see it. The next match we have, well, scratch it. I mean, Roxy did win with an amazing pinfall, so she retained the title, and of course, Lady Luck showed her respect. I think it showed that Roxy is going to be we can say good things with her, but right now, we'll see what happens then. Our next match, we have Moose taking on Sam Adonis. Now, this was a very interesting match. As you know, the last time Sam Adonis, his last loss against the Switchblade, he actually took him out. But this time, the match was interesting. I would have assumed that Adonis would have been taken out by Moose, but somehow he was able to roll up Moose to pick up the victory. It was a major upset, for Sam Adonis to beat Moose. And I hope Moose gets his hands on him because he's not going to take that lightly. Next match, we have Chandler Hopkins, who we've seen him on AEW many times, versus the debut back in the Independents and for the first time being in Warrior Wrestling, Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy. It's great that he's in it. I have to say, Buddy Matthews is now who he is, what we expected, and I think it now feels more right for him. And I'm really excited how he was doing it. But I was surprised to see how much he has developed his own craft now that he's no longer part of WWE. But it's great. But it was him who won the match easily from Chandler Hopkins. Next match, we have the heavyweight hustle Calvin Techman taking on the walking weapon Josh Alexander. This match was insane, balls to the walls match. I was like impressed. Now I was thinking somehow Josh Alexander will continue to show he is the walking weapon, that nothing anybody can do can stop him, and that's what he did. And I think it played out pretty well, And of course, I think it was another big surprise that Josh Alexander won the match. Now our next match is a tag team match, or should I say, an intergender tag team match. We have pretty proper, consistent of Lady Frost and her real life husband, Victor Benjamin, the Savage, and the Butterfingers champion, taking on Janai Kai and Jason Hotch. I have to say the ending of this match was great. How it was won. It was Victor Benjamin that somehow put Janai lying on the ground and picked up Lady Frost to lift her up and do like some sort of 450 splash on top of her to pick up the victory. I thought that was a very sweet ending, and it was pretty good. Our next match, we got the inevitable Ace Austin taking on the American Werewolf, Davey Richards. I have to say this match showed Ace Austin should have been known, could have said Davey Richards is not the same man that he was, but now he is back more stronger than ever. And I was surprised that somehow Davey Richards was able to pick up the victory and force Ace Austin to tap out, and I thought it was pretty sweet too. Our next match, we have Casey Navarro taking on Alex Shelley. A good match. I was pretty much impressed with the whole thing, especially, but however, it was Alex Shelley that picked up the victory. Excuse me. And finally, our last match, our main event, is the Warrior Wrestling Lucha title between Rey Horus, Gringo Loco, and Aramis, our champion. I have to say, anything could happen in these triple threat match when it comes to Lucha Libre. But one thing that I know for a fact, I was thinking Rey Horus could win it or Aramis could retain it, but however, I was glad that it was Aramis who picked up the victory on Rey Horus and allowing himself to retain the title. So there will be more Warrior Wrestling coming up next month, but right now we'll just do this one. So I say let's move on with the final review, Camp Leapfrog. Okay, this promotion I never heard of, but I'm glad I got to see it. That's what Deleted WrestleZone is all about. Revealing promotions you may or may not have heard of, or they sound interesting for you. It all depends. The name of the promotion is unique. I'm always interested in uniqueness with the names or the styles or whatever, but the name is unique. Camp Leapfrog. Now, don't ask me who came up with that name. I don't even have that information, but they do have they operate out of Pennsylvania somewhere. They even use it to H2O's arena, but it was great. But however, this one it was the Abby Jane's 21st birthday extravaganza. Abby Jane is one of their wrestlers, and she was placed in the main event in a six-way, in a how do I say, in a trios tag team match. But we'll get to that when that happens. Opening match, we have Blank taking on Masha Slamovich. I thought it was a good match because Masha Slamovich shows how aggressive she can be a total badass. But that's exactly what she did when she put Blank in a sort of a crosswing, chicken wing, whatever it was. But it was great. But she actually decided not to punish him more. But Sierra showed up to help. But she got herself involved in that too. Our next match is a four-way tag team match. We have the Breakfast Club, consisting of Mr. Evander James and Pancakes. Interesting name, Pancakes. Versus Cornelius Crummels and Sonny the Farge. Versus main event Jay Leon and Midas Black. Versus Shinobi Shadow Squad, Ryan Maloney and world famous CV. I have to say this match was pretty much, I got lost in the shuffle in this one. I was like practically, who the hell is going what? But it did end it in the favor of the main event. They actually picked up the victory, and I think it was really interesting. But to me, I wasn't too pumped on this match because it was going crazy. I don't know who was legal in this type of match. Our next match is a Campground Warfare 10-man tag team match. We have the first team, Johnny Blade, joining the Goons, consisting of Darius Carter, Eel O'Neill, Killian McMurphy, Kyle Millennium, and of course, with being accompanied by Big Dust, taking on Big Calix, Brock Storm, Ron Voyage, and the Boar and Violence. I have to say this match was exactly how I hoped for because it showed how the second team was handling their business and they were able to come on top. And I don't even know who's who in this particular match, but it was really good. I think it was really good. But however, it was Calix, Blackstorm, Voyage, the Boar, and Violence that picked up the victory. Our next match is the Rey de Ranas Scramble match. If you guys don't know Rey de Ranas, that's King of the Frogs in Spanish. We have King Crab, Adram Amada, The Whisper, Rex Lawless, Nolo Kitano, and Common MK. Now, I'm not familiarized with any of that, but I have heard the name Rex Lawless somewhere. But mostly they all started out attacking King Crab. He's like the one guy I didn't want, but somehow in the end of this match, King Crab got away with it by picking up a victory. So he wins the match. Our next one is a Frog Sport Rules match. We have Thunder Frog, weird name, taking on Matt Mikowski. Now, Matt Mikowski, I don't know who he is, but at some point in the match, he was attacked by some assailants. I don't even know who they are. But, however, it did not stop him, even if Thunder Frog tried to stop him. But Mikowski was able to continue through and picked up the victory, regardless of Thunder Frog, even though he had other things he had to do. Oh, excuse me. Next match we have Jet, Gargel, Murloc, the Campground Athletic Commission, Ethan Wild, and Johnny Moran with Skiff, taking on the Colony, Green Ant, Thief Ant, and Airshow, Mach 10, and Razorwing. I have to say, this was a very fun match because I think I like these guys. The Colony and Airshow, part of the second team that took out the first team. And it was Green Ant who put, what's his name? Johnny Moran in the octopus and forced him to tap out. And I might want to get interested in the colony, see what they are all about. Our next match is for the Camp Leapfrog Campeonatos de Rana title, which is the tag team titles. We have Yokai Janakai and Yoya taking on the outfielders Boomer Hatfield and Molly McCoy. I have to say it was a really fun match. I did not expect a whole lot, even though in this scenario it was more like you saw exactly what mixed tag team should be in this particular match. But I was hoping Yoya and Janai was going to win it, but no, it was the outfielders to win. It seems like they were a bit of the fan favorite, but they retained the titles. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Our main event is we have Dan Champion, Sydney Bacabella, Travis Huckabee, along with Avery Good, taking on Hallow Wicked, Ultra Match, Matrix Black, and of course the birthday girl, Abby Jane. I have to say this match was good. It showed how the first team tried to humiliate Abby Jane, but of course it did not stop her. It was not going to ruin her birthday, but I think it showed a lot of character with Abby Jane, who is determined to win the match on her birthday, and it was her who picked up the victory when she made the pinfall. And I think it showed Abby Jane is still everyone's favorite little girl that they like to enjoy. Now, I don't know much about her, but she seems interested when I watch her. So if there's any more Camp Leapfrog events that is posted out on Watch Pro Wrestling, then I'll review those too. So I think that's pretty much it that I got. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Coming up, we got more, and we're getting closer and closer to the finals of the G1 Climax by New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm excited. We even got Dark Elevation as well, with only 4 matches from what I understand that the Wrestling Observer posted out on the report. But also going to review 2 past events. One is going to be Cape Championship Wrestling, which is I was supposed to do on this episode, but didn't. But the other one I'm also going to review is a Japanese promotion. You may have heard this one on Dark Side of the Ring. Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling Explosion is from a show called Burnout Osaka. I'm kind of excited how this one be. You may have heard of this promotion before, but it's kind of crazy. So I can't wait to review it. But as for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.